Hey everyone, welcome back to TopherDrives, where today we are embarking on what is our most unconventional road trip yet. This is the newly facelifted 2026 Acura Integra A-Spec with technology. And today, as you can see from the snowy landscape and construction vehicles moving snow around, that sounds like a construction zone, so I apologize for that. We are in Michigan. Now, we are going to end this road trip in Los Angeles, California, but not in the way you'd think. Unfortunately, we're not driving this Integra A-Spec across the country, but this week worked out in a very unique fashion. I've had this trip to LA planned for months now, and I had Charlie from Daily Motor, who books all of our press cars for us, schedule me a 6-speed manual, double Apex Blue, 2026 Integra A-Spec for while I'm out in California. Well, it just so happened that my last week in Michigan, this is what I've been driving, a double Apex Blue 6-speed manual A-Spec Acura Integra. So I figured this would be kind of cool to start this video in Michigan with the exact same car that I'm going to be driving in California. Now, what we're doing today is we're going to take this and drive it only about 15 miles to the airport, and then we'll get on the Airbus A321, I think it's called. We're going to get on the plane, then we're going to land at LAX, and then we're going to get in an identical Acura Integra, drive it up the PCH from Los Angeles to Ojai Valley. I think I'm saying that right, O-J-A-I Valley. It's about an 85-mile drive, so we're really only going to be doing about 100 miles total, but combined drive time is going to be about 3 hours because it takes a minute, to get out of LA, and plus we've got about a 15-minute drive to the airport here. So I figured this would be kind of a fun thing to do, and we'll be able to experience the Integra A-Spec from one climate to another. So let's walk you around this real quick. We'll talk about what's new for 2026, and then we'll get on the road. My flight boards at 11:50, so I actually have an okay amount of time. I've got just over an hour, so let's walk you around this. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is finished in double A. If it's not a lawn crew, it's something else every time, isn't it? This is finished in double Apex Blue, which was a new color on the ZDX. But as we know, Acura already pulled the plug on the ZDX. So this is the only car that you can have this on now. And the cool thing about double Apex Blue in 2026 is that Acura color matches the grille. This has probably been the most polarizing design element of this facelift because not every color is like this. I want to say it's only the double Apex Blue and the red color that they color match the grille, though Acura will allow you to get a dealer accessory black grille, but then the white and gray cars come with a black grille and you have to get a dealer accessory if you want it color matched. So it's a little bit weird, but otherwise on the exterior, we have this new ground effects kit. You can see these little black bits on the front bumper, and we have these side skirts. This car today is absolutely caked in salt, so we'll be able to see the beauty of this color a bit more once we land in California. Additionally, we have a new set of wheels on this Integra, but most of the other changes lie inside because mechanically, the formula here is still the same. We still have the turbocharged 1.5-liter inline 4-cylinder engine that makes 200 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. Think Civic Si. That engine is connected in this car to a 6-speed manual transmission, and we have a Helical limited slip differential for the front wheels, of course, because this is front-wheel drive. Now, this is the A-Spec with tech, so it's about 40 grand. The Integra itself, in base model form with a CVT, starts at about $34,000. So I really have always just thought of this as a luxury Civic Si, but it's cool because it's a little bit different from a body standpoint. The Civic Si is only available these days in a sedan, but the Integra is a hatchback or a liftback, whatever you want to call this. And today we're demonstrating some of our road trip essentials with everything I'm going to live with in California for 10 days. I fit everything into Emily's suitcase, actually, because my suitcase isn't very big, so I elected to take hers today. And then I've got my camera bag as well with my laptop and all that stuff. But hopefully that's enough stuff for 10 days. I'm going to be visiting Charlie from the Daily Motor as well, so I'm gonna see if maybe I can do some laundry at his house. But lots of room here in the back, no problem whatsoever. You could fill this up all the way to the glass. I think even if I had Emily with me, there still would have been enough room in this Integra because it just is about the right size. Well, let's jump in the back seat and see if you were going to be traveling with passengers, what would the experience be like for them? This has the Orchid interior, and in the back seat, you've got mostly enough room. I mean, the only thing that's a little bit of a bummer is the headroom, but you can literally see the roof line here. It does kind of slant down a bit, and there's no little cutout for your head, or I guess there's maybe a little bit of a cutout, but at 5'11" here, sat behind myself, it's a bit snug in the headroom department, but in the legroom department, I am completely fine. Not a whole lot of luxury back here. You've got 2 USB-C ports. There's 1 seat back pocket, but you've got no vents. You've got no heated rear seats. And then you've got a couple of cup holders on this very plush fold-down armrest. I do like the way this Orchid looks, and they've actually trimmed out the front seats a little bit differently for 2026, and we'll show you that once we get up there, but I want to talk engine one more time. Go ahead and pop this hood. What I love so much about this engine is it's got 200 horsepower, so it's decently quick. This car weighs just over 3,000 pounds, so it's not very heavy. I think it's got plenty of power, but it's also very efficient. When Tedward had his Civic Si, I mean, he was seeing like 40 mpg from this engine in the real world. So it's quite a nice little thing, and again, it's essentially exactly what you get in the Honda Civic Si. No hood struts on this, so there you go, but the hood is actually quite light. I think this looks good in its facelifted form. Now, it's no Type S, which is initially what I was going to go for, but I'm actually glad that we settled on the A-Spec, because this is more of kind of the everyman's Integra. You can have the A-Spec without tech for under 40 grand. Also, am I blinding you all with my new pair of white Vans that I took out of the box just for this? I'm like, I had to settle. I had to settle on one pair of shoes because I didn't have room for anything else. I had this vision in my mind. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go for some runs while I'm in California. Emily's like, no, you're not going to have room for anything except like pants and shirts in your suitcase for 10 days. So my buddy Matthew got me these Vans. They've been in the closet. I've been waiting for the opportunity to use them. So Matthew, if you're watching, this is thanks to you. All right, let's start this up and start heading to the airport. And we need the heat blasting today because it is 17 degrees out. My hands are about to turn into dust right now. And unfortunately, the one thing you don't get in the interior of an Integra A-Spec Tech is a heated steering wheel. And the biggest bummer is there's a blank switch right here where they could have put it, or I think the most Hondas have the button on the steering wheel. And if you're from Canada and you're watching this, I know you probably have a heated steering wheel in your Integra, but since we're only American, we just get heated seats, though they do have 3 settings and they get decently hot, so no complaints there. Now, I've talked about that they retrimmed these. They've added this little strip of blue down the sides of the seats. We saw this first in the ADX, which is a car that the Topher and I didn't particularly care for, but they do look better here in this Integra A-Spec in double Apex blue. I think this kind of brings everything together, and I love that it's got a black headliner. This looks quite nice in here. We have the ELS Studio 3D sound system in its biggest capacity. I want to say, what is it, 16 speakers or something? Sounds quite good. We've known this for a while, and it's a perk of getting the A-Spec with tech, as you get more speakers than the regular one. Number of drive modes here: Sport, Normal, Comfort, and Individual, which I've been using this week. I've got this set up with my engine in Normal, steering in Comfort, suspension in Comfort, auto stop start turned off, and gauge in Comfort as well, because it gives you the blue outline. But one thing I forgot to mention on the outside is this does have the adaptive dampers. Now, I have these running in Comfort. It's very cold this week. I don't know if it has to do with the cold, but I haven't noticed a ton of difference with these performance programmings, I guess you could say, from Sport all the way to Comfort. It all feels about the same. So I've just been running in Comfort to be as soft as possible. We've got wireless Apple CarPlay on this now standard 9-inch infotainment screen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if you're an Android user as well. And then we still have this very nice climate control panel with physical knobs that make very satisfying clicks when you turn them. Fairly deep center console. I've got my phone in here right now, but you can also put that on the wireless charger there in front of your shifter. Otherwise, I mean, not a whole lot has changed in here. They've put this new trim on the dashboard, which you can make anti-ASMR with, but I think it's nice. It's kind of like an anodized looking material. Spruces this up, but we still have these very easy to point vents that you also see in the Civic. I like those a lot. But I guess that's about it. Why don't we go drive this thing, our first little stint, and then we'll get out of it, get on a plane, and then we'll go get into an identical car to this one. Oh, we need to sort out that backup camera so I can show you guys quality. That is completely covered in salt right now. Don't you guys love how when I'm done recording, the construction equipment is gone? I swear I'm cursed with things making noise while I'm filming. Tedward, if you're watching, you can speak to that as well. Okay, let's jump in here. See if we can see this backup camera now. There you go. Okay, not the highest quality in the world, but you know, it gets the job done. No 360 camera in this car, which was made most notable this week because I was also driving the new Nissan Sentra, which is about $10,000 cheaper than this, and it had a 360 camera. So, you know, just something to keep in mind. You can't always give these cars an excuse because they're small for not having a 360 camera. You know, they can always still put one in. Also, forgive me if I have a couple sloppy shifts or takeoffs because these shoes are brand new. It's like racing drivers' excuses, but genuinely, these shoes just feel like bricks on my feet right now because they aren't broken in at all. I literally put them on for the first time leaving the house today. So I've walked in them for a combined amount of however long that walk around was, and then walking out of the house into the car. Anyway, since we're on the topic of takeoffs and shifting, let's talk clutch and shifter action here in this Integra A-Spec. Which, here's the thing, okay? It's got a little bit of a learning curve to it, and we saw this in the Civic Si and, in fact, all the Integras that we've driven in the past, which has been quite a few. Also, apologies for the suitcase doing its thing in the back. It's just going to slide around some because that's what it does. But it's almost like the torque curve is kind of working against you on takeoff, so it's actually beneficial to rev this a little bit higher, 1600 RPM on a takeoff, because it is just smoother that way. But once you're past the takeoff, that is when things become lovely because the shifter is wonderful. I love Honda's modern day shifters that they do, and I don't know, I feel like Honda's never really made a bad shifter. If they have, you can put it in the comments and tell me which car it is. We also have auto rev matching in this Integra A-Spec. The only other thing that you have to get used to is the rev hang. Now, it seems like the car has more rev hang the higher the revs go, which is a bit of a bummer because it just makes it hard to shift it fast if you're trying to go fast in a straight line. It's pretty easy to shift it fast when you're just kind of driving around casually, but if you're actually like racing, you gotta take your time with this gearbox. You know, I've had a couple mildly sketchy 3-2 downshifts that the car just feels like it doesn't really want to go into second gear. See that there? That rev hang? Anyway, we'll take this around a corner and then we'll jump on the highway. Got just under an hour till my flight boards. I will be just fine. Did you guys have parents growing up that always wanted to get to the airport like 3 hours before your flight boarded? I feel like I lived through that experience now, and I just get to the airport like literally 10 minutes before my flight boards, and every time I walk right onto the plane and it's fine. I hope I didn't just jinx myself. There's no wood in this interior to knock on. Oh. And we have an F-150 in our corner. That's okay, we'll just do it again. I think this car is plenty quick for what it is. It's not going to blow the doors off of anything, and it's not going to blow your face off either, but I don't really think that's the point of this car. I see this car as like a slightly more fun and engaging daily driver, which I really love. You know, I don't even know that I'd really consider this a hot compact. Maybe I would. Maybe it's hot compact status. go. Helical limited slip getting us out of that corner there, and you'll see it'll help us pull out of this corner too. Crazy no lift shift function or anything in this. Just do it all yourself, but it's fine, you know, once you get used to it. Is it the most fun manual car in the world to drive? No, but I think it's engaging enough and fun enough to where you would tick the box for the 6-speed over the CVT. Not to mention you don't get the limited slip diff if you opt for the CVT, so that's a reason enough to get the manual. All right, let's get this out on the highway. Should we try and get it off the line real quick? Why not? It's just gonna spin its wheels like crazy, but we'll do it anyway. There you go, a little 0 to 60 for you. I did let off a bit in first because I've launched this a couple of times this week, and it just eats limiter if you go full throttle right off the bat, so. All right, well, now that we've diminished our fuel economy, which has been actually pretty close to 30 mpg this week. Actually, when this car got dropped off the first couple of days, I was putzing it around town, and it was doing 34 miles to the gallon, which is pretty impressive. So now that I've actually driven it, it's down to 26.8, but hey, that's not so bad. I love how this new version of CarPlay, see, it tells me, it knows that I'm driving to the airport right now, and it says boarding at 11:50. It tells me my gate as well and the flight number. All of that is good stuff. And this isn't an Apple CarPlay review, but kudos to them. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about with these dampers, and this section of highway will be a good test for that. Semi's cooking today. Even in comfort mode, which is what I've got them set in right now, they're a little bit bouncy. Now this is not Focus RS stiff, obviously. And okay, they are actually coping with this section of highway pretty well. I'm curious if I bump this into Sport, how much worse they get, because they really don't feel any different to me. Okay, I'd say there's about a 20% difference between Sport and Comfort, which I would maybe like to see a little bit more differentiation between those. Look at that, it's the cheapest car in the USA, the Hyundai Venue. Look at that, it's the cheapest car in the USA, the Hyundai Venue. Both red too. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the ride quality. You know, even though these are a little bit bouncy, they're not crashy. Like, I'm not bouncing my butt out of the seat like I would be in a Focus RS. And this car isn't really about that. This car is not about going around a racetrack. Sure, it's about maybe you've got a little bit of a twisty road on your commute, or you live up in the canyons or something and you want something efficient to daily drive. This can do that, but this is not necessarily going to be the car that's going to put down hot laps and keep up with a Civic Type R or an Integra Type S. Let's jump back over here to the right lane and we'll show you what our cruise control situation is like. I always love on these Hondas and Acuras, they put that little car in the middle and it shows you when you apply the brakes. How cool is that? Or the turn signals. Look at that. Very cool. But cruise control works fine. We've got lane keep assist in this too. Put up those couple little green lines there for us. And then let's see here. We can adjust our adaptive cruise. We'll put our following interval to nearest. And that'll come up here on this Tahoe. Would maybe like to make a pass. Let's see how that behaves. So we'll see if this. Why are all the cars in twos today? We've got two white Tahoes now. Very strange. And two Lincoln MKZs. What is happening? Look at this. Lincoln MKZ, here comes another Lincoln MKZ right behind it. Very strange things happening on I-94 today. Okay, we had to ditch the cruise control because that's interesting. So this guy put his turn signal on. The car thought he was going to get over in front of me, and it flashed the brake. Told me to brake. Anyway, I want to get back behind this Tahoe because I want to see what this cruise control system is like when you go to make a pass. Now, I've got this set to 70. Let's set it to 78, 79. This guy's going 73. Let's make a pass and see how this behaves. Okay, so started accelerating about mid-lane change. Not mad at that at all. I would obviously prefer for this to start accelerating as soon as I put the turn signal on. That's just what I prefer with these adaptive cruise systems, but they're not all going to be that eager to go like a BMW system. Interior comfort in this is pretty nice. I've been a big fan of this seat this week. It's got good lumbar adjust. You can go up, down, in, and out. So you guys know I always love to see that. And Honda and Acura always nail these ergonomics. I think the steering wheel is just about perfect. I'm going to kill this lane keep assist. It's getting confused. The steering wheel feels just about perfect. I think it's very pretty to look at too. I mean, just a gorgeous steering wheel. And then I've got this little tiny lip here on the center console. I can just barely rest my elbow. I would maybe like to see this designed in a different way, or just maybe made to be able to adjust. If you don't have cups in the cup holders, maybe be able to move that forward a bit. But otherwise, driver's door panel, comfiness, that's fine. And seating position in this is lovely as well. I can sit down plenty low. So I've got no complaints here, apart from baby complaint about the center console. But as far as other road trip essentials, like places to put things in this car, I showed you guys the wireless charger. The cup holders are very deep, so if Emily were coming with me, which I very much wish that she was with me today, but unfortunately she has a normal job and she has to work. The cup holders are deep enough for her big dumb cup. And then the door panels have pretty good pockets as well. You could fit another cup in there. And then you've got your little Culver's fry holder there in the driver's door. But anyway, we are actually already approaching Detroit Airport, which is in Romulus, Michigan. It's not actually in Detroit, they just call it Detroit. Where actually somebody drove their Mercedes C-Class into the Delta terminal a couple of weeks ago, so hopefully that doesn't happen again today. But why would you drive your Mercedes C-Class into the airport terminal? Very nice frameless auto-dimming mirror in this car. Love to see that. And we've also got blind spot monitoring on these side mirrors too. So visibility out of this car is okay. The back window, since this is a lift-back design, you can't see the most out of it, but the side mirrors do a really good job. They've got this little peak, like they kind of go up a little bit to give you extra visibility closer to the car. So I like to see that. I was about to say I'm gonna miss this car because I've had fun with it this week, but its twin brother or sister, whatever, its twin is going to be meeting me in LA. So that's what makes this better. Okay, I've got to go this way because I'm dropping the car off. Normally I'd go that way if I was just dropping somebody off, but I've got to go one more to the north exit. Really a big fan of this auto rev match. I mean, there's absolutely no lurchiness. I mean, you've got to modulate the clutch still, obviously, but it just controls the revs so perfectly. And we're just on a Continental all-season tire. But it's done pretty well for me this week in mixed driving conditions. I mean, it was snowing for half the week. I had this out in the snow and it did fine. Obviously, the limited slip differential helped in the snow too, but these tires do a pretty good job. The Topher and Tedward drove one of these through an ice storm in Colorado on these tires too, and they complimented its performance. So just the way that this car comes, you know, it seems to do a pretty good job just being ready to go as a daily for any situation. This is where we pulled over when I hit a piece of semi-tire in the Ford Maverick Lobo. Not a very fun thing to think back on. But actually, Ford emailed me like a week after that happened, and they were like, hey, Chris, we popped the bumper off, we put everything back where it was supposed to go, and the truck's fine. So that made me feel a little bit better. Anyway, let's see, where do we need to be? There we go. We got here quite quickly today. My goal was to get here by 11, and it's only 11:06, so not bad at all. See this? I'm able to make my own schedule. All right, let's take that off for a sec. Not scare the person at the window. We're back. All right, I took the camera off to pull into the lot because I didn't want to freak the lady out with... I don't know, airports are weird, man. I'm like always scared to have a camera because, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm not crashing a Mercedes C-Class through the front doors here, but it's always just a little bit like, I don't know. I try to tread lightly when I'm at airports. But anyway, there we are parked. Let's shut this off. Ending out the week 27.2 mpg. We'll try and remember to reset the trip on the car in LA, and then we'll get like a more accurate like road trip mpg sort of thing. But let's grab, can never forget to do that animation either. Let's grab our stuff out of the lift back, which in hindsight probably shouldn't have backed in because this is solid ice, but it's okay. We'll get the stuff out here. Proof that this is Emily's suitcase. Oh my goodness, heavy boy. Try not to have that blow away. And then I'm actually going to put my camera that's on my face right now in this backpack. So cue the montage, and I'll see you guys in LA. And just like that, we're in Los Angeles. It was about 5 hours for me and probably about 25 seconds for all of you. And we'll see how long this trip lasts because the lady next to me on the plane coughed for the entire trip. So anyway, I'm trying not to think about that. I'm trying to think about this, the identical Acura Integra A-Spec that we're gonna jump in now and go on an important mission, because usually the first place I stop when I'm in LA is In-N-Out Burger, and I haven't had it in about 2 years. So we've already got the navigation queued up to go. We've got a Ford Raptor waiting to take my spot in the valet. And that's it. Let's find our way out of here. Valet park exit. That would make sense for me. It's funny, the valet driver showed up and he was like, you know this car's a manual, right? Do people like get cars and not know that they're manual? I don't understand that. Let's get this show on the road and not start the trip by scraping the bumper, leaving the parking spot. Okay. We are now driving in a different state. Los Angeles is so funny. I always just, it doesn't feel like real life when I'm here. Auto stop start coming on because it's not 0 degrees out. Oh, you know what I need to do is set up my individual mode on this car. Customize. Engine, we want that normal. Steering, we want comfort. Suspension, that'll be comfort. Idle stop, disable, engage in comfort. Look at that. Got it all before the light turned green, and if you look over there, there's a yellow Audi RS3 that's about to be coming towards us. Wow! That's a massive plane. That's like a 2-level guy. Check this out. Minty GMT 800. No rust. And I guess I don't know if I'd call it minty, but no rust. Which is minty for Michigan, I suppose. I can't hear it though. There it is. Oh man, dude, I have not had In-N-Out in probably 2 or 3 years. Now, I'm gonna try my best to behave like a local in the drive-thru. I'm just going to order something and not ask for any sort of weird substitutions. It's another... Where is it? Wow, there it is! Oh dear, I have to order before I see a menu. The only menu item I know from In-N-Out is a double-double. I guess that's what I'm having then.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Can I please just do the double-double?
Would you like onion?
No.
Okay. Would you like any fries?
Yes, please.
Would you like any peanut drink?
Just a water would be great. Yep.
And would you be eating this in the car?
Yes.
So you have 1 double-double with no onion, 1 fry, and 1 water.
Yep, that's right.
60 at that first one, please.
Great, thank you so much. I don't think I did that very well. She had to ask me so many questions. She definitely knows that I'm not from here. But you know what? This is the one next to the airport, so they probably get this a lot of people just having no idea what's going on. Right, this isn't giving me an option to go up the PCH the whole way, but it is giving me an option to take the PCH for some of the way. So instead of going up the canyon road and going inland, I'll just take the PCH the whole way until I have to go up through Oxnard, and we'll just do that. Perfect. 2 hours and 7 minutes. It'll probably end up being like 2 hours and 15, though. Any doubt I had about Sweet James being real, there's the billboard. As far as maneuverability goes here, obviously the Integra is not very big, so it's easy to place this here, but we don't have any sort of fancy cameras like we talked about in the beginning of the video, like the Nissan Sentra that I was driving this week also. But because of that, there's obviously no camera button, because the only camera here is the reversing camera. But it's pretty easy to see out of this thing. Got 2 auto up-down windows, that's nice.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, good, how are you?
Good, thank you. I have a double without onion or fry and water.
Yep, you got it.
So it's gonna be 916.
There you go.
Please,
Yep. Oh, great, thank you. Look at this. Okay, well, we're gonna do this way, and I'll set the food on the seat, and then the grease won't seep through. There we go. I'm so excited. This smells so good, and I've hardly eaten today. It's time. I'm surprised this place is so busy at it's 3 p.m.
Hi, how
Hello.
are you?
Good, how are
Would
you?
you like ketchup today?
No thanks.
No
I'm good.
ketchup?
Nope.
Perfect. Here's your double-double with the regular
Great.
fry.
Thank you so much.
And then here's your water.
Great. Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Pull up 116, please.
Ah, okay. Now, I need to find somewhere to eat this, but I don't think it's going to be in this parking lot because this is madness. This place is crazy. Ooh, please don't scrape. Please don't scrape. Okay. Got enough ground clearance to do that. Would quite like some water. Oh yeah. I think since this is actually out, I can just take little bites of it as I go. Why would I not just do that? Oh, check this out. Okay. I haven't eaten a burger in so long. Alrighty guys, well I'm gonna carry on with this boring city section here, and I'll throw the camera back on and update you guys once I am on the PCH and we can enjoy some nice beach and ocean together. Hello everyone. Welcome to Grand Theft Auto 5 as we go through Santa Monica. On the PCH, we've made it. There's the beach, there's the ocean, on the map obviously, there they are in real life. I tried to get the camera on in time to pass the black house and the pink house, but I couldn't quite do it, but it's just barely back there. But yes, man, I have not been on the PCH in so long, and I'm excited. I put these windows down. I've managed to eat my In-N-Out. Wow, it's toasty out, 69 degrees. That's warm for me, currently. Peepaw knows what's up. got his cigar. There it is, the ocean. You do get little boost noises from this 1.5 liter. Sometimes you hear them. They're very subtle, but I think this is kind of a good use for this car. You know, it's not the most razor sharp thing in the world, but it's fun to just cruise it up and down the PCH. What is this M5 doing? That's interesting. Ooh. Automatic emergency braking, activating there on that Equinox EV. There's a broken down Nissan Maxima. Glad that I did not choose that lane, but I'm going to here shortly, I think, once I get up here a little bit further. I don't know, guys, what do you think? Should we take Malibu Canyon? Maybe we should take Malibu Canyon. Well, we're getting like 8 miles of PCH here. I'm getting some secondhand washer fluid there from that Escalade, thank you. I guess I'll do my own. It's cool, on the Integra, the washer fluid is actually in the wipers, see? And even though the PCH is not the most conventional highway, this is quite a bit more exciting to look at than our normal road trip highways through Michigan and Ohio and things. The Integra behaves nicely here. I mean, it's the same sort of concept. The manners are nice. It's smooth. It's quiet. Smooth is so cliche. Automatic emergency braking flashing for some reason. But it's quiet in here. It's nice to sit in this. And these A-Spec seats do a really nice job. I don't know how different these are from the base Integra. I know they're trimmed differently. But I like that I've got this adjustable lumbar. I do have it adjusted slightly out because I did sit on a plane for 5 hours and that was quite uncomfortable. Easy enough to dodge potholes, which actually it's surprising how kind of bad these roads are in LA. I mean, obviously they're nothing compared to roads in Michigan, but you do have to dodge the odd pothole here and there. But the dampers do an okay job, and even these wheels, you know, it's an 18-inch wheel. There's not crazy road intrusion from these. So like I've kind of said from the beginning, like this is a nice kind of cruiser, mildly, I don't want to say lukewarm because I don't think that's nice enough. Could you call this a warm compact? I definitely don't think I would call this a hot compact, but I'm going off of the way that I order a pad CU at a Thai restaurant. I would call this a mild plus compact, and maybe more than mild plus, maybe medium. It does good stuff, and we'll find out. I think we are going to take Malibu Canyon just because, you know, when in Rome, we're enjoying the PCH right now, and then we'll take Malibu Canyon and we'll hit some corners in this. But I really like just kind of cruising this down PCH because it's comfortable. It's not egging me on to go fast. It's got a good sound system, which we'll test towards the end of the video, so look forward to that if you want to hear this ELS. This auto rev match and pretty light clutch pedal do help you in traffic situations. It just makes everything easy, and your left leg doesn't hurt when you have to do this sort of thing. Look at this little Miata. Imagine living right on the PCH. That's pretty crazy. I wonder what these cost, these places. Oh, look at this old square body Chevy with a Florida plate, and it's a step side. Water must get in because they've got a tarp on it. Now, this is important road trip consumer advice. I know this is probably going to be the most boring part of the video, but modulating this clutch and doing takeoff after takeoff here in traffic is mostly painless. Welcome to Malibu, and it's time to say goodbye to the PCH. I had to turn into City Hall, and oh my goodness, this is a very steep driveway. But we have the clearance, we're good. I had to turn into City Hall to swap the battery on my camera because it was about to die, and I want to make sure we have battery for the Canyon Road here. So we'll get to see what this thing is like on some twisties, I think. I'm just enjoying. I just saw a Ferrari 328, and with these palm trees and this lighting, man, that's special to see. Oh, look at that! Classic cop car. Just see the best things when you're out in California. If it's not Magnum PI, it's the Blues Brothers. even through all of that horrendous traffic on the PCH, our MPG is still 26.5. Right now we're just in this for the views because obviously there's traffic, so hard to push this to the limit when you've got the Tesla. That's right, the beauty of a manual, you can use engine braking. Keep these brakes nice and cool, except it looks like we are stopping up here. That's not a good sign. In fact, that's a very bad sign. Big long line of cars, but look at these mountains. Just look at the mountains. In hindsight, maybe this wasn't the best idea to do this. I think PCH was just starting to get good out of the traffic, and then I abandoned it for this, which is just more traffic. Veloster N. Oh, here we go. Let's see if the 1.5 liter makes any sound. What do we think? I'm gonna say probably not, but we'll give it a shot. I think the turbo was the loudest thing. A little bit of a blow off there. Right, Lost Hills Road is where all of the cars are going. Of course. Oh, should have stayed on the PCH, but you know what? Next time. We'll do it next time. Okay, well that was the most anticlimactic canyon drive of my entire life, so apologies for that if you were looking forward to seeing the limited slip diff in use and things, but we're just getting on the 101 here in another mile, so we'll merge onto the highway and then probably take the camera back off and check in with you guys towards the end of this and give you some final thoughts on what this has been like to road trip across two different states that are very far away from each other, but both very close to my heart. Alrighty guys, well I'm on here for 37 miles, so we'll spend the rest of our time here in the Integra A-Spec. Don't worry, there will be other videos on this car that have hopefully some more exciting driving. But we'll come back, we'll give you some final thoughts, and that'll be it. That was a huge rock. Welcome back to the highway in the Integra. We are exiting towards Ojai right now. We've got 17 minutes left of this trip, which has seemed very long, but has only been 75 miles. So I know this is a little bit of a different road trip video, but I hope you guys were able to have fun in this and just kind of enjoy the adventure with me. But I wanted to give you an update on a couple of things over the last 75.6 miles. We've done 33 MPG, which is pretty good considering the highway EPA estimate for this car is 36. So we did quite a bit of traffic. We sat in the in and out drive-through for some time. So this car's been doing its thing. It's been pretty efficient here thus far. Additionally, I also want to compliment this 6th gear because I haven't had to downshift to make my passes. So that's quite good. I like the way this is geared. It's good for going the distance on the highway. And you all remember that we road tripped, Emily and I road tripped a Civic Si to Chicago a couple of years ago. Maybe it was last year, because I think it was a 25 Civic Si. But anyway, this is basically that. My impressions from that, but this is just a little bit cozier. So basically what this is, what we're driving right now is a Civic Si made for road trips, made for grand touring. This is where this car is happiest. And I really like that about it. I like that it's not quite as stiff. I like that the materials in here are a little bit nicer. It's just a nice package here. Also got to compliment this seat because I was just on a plane for 5 hours, as you know, but this seat is not making my back hurt any worse than it already did. And I think that's a win here for the Integra. I just keep moving the lumbar out further and further. But I would say if anything's sore, it's my butt. But I can't really blame anything on the car today because I just sat in that seat. Granted, it was Comfort Plus, but still, you know, your butt just gets sore if you're sitting in the same exact position for 5 hours. But anyway, we're gonna finish out the last little bit of this trip. What a beautiful evening out here in Southern California. Let's do a sound system test on this ELS Studio 3D sound system, and then we'll wrap this one up. We've got a physical volume knob right here, or we have this little volume clicker on the steering wheel. It goes with all the other nice inputs. Check out this Veloster N. Proper stuff. Oh, what a gorgeous night. Another A-Spec. Alright, I want to compliment this ELS Studio 3D sound system on a number of things. For one, I think the speaker grills are quite attractive with this like metal mesh thing. It makes everything look just that much higher end. But also, I want to compliment the performance too, because you've got good power, good bass, but primarily you can listen to some more complex music in this car, and it does sound pretty accurate. You've got nice highs up here with these A-pillar mounted tweeters, and it's just a pretty nice, high-quality sound system. I don't really have any complaints with it, especially for the class. I think the only thing that this is pretty similar to is the Bose and the Mazda 3. That's also a very good system, but otherwise, this is quite good. As far as interior build quality goes, it seems to be pretty nice, though. The funniest thing is I'm noticing this little jingly sound that kind of sounds like buttons on a coat moving. I think it's too quiet for the mics to even pick it up. Can you guys hear that? Okay, the funniest thing about this is the Integra in Detroit made the exact same noise. And I thought I was going crazy. I thought my jacket was in the back seat, but obviously here it isn't, and I'm still hearing the noise. So, what is that moving around? Who knows? Otherwise, though, everything in here does feel very tight. I haven't had any like plastic on plastic rattles or anything horrible in either of the Integras this week. Slide area. Can I finally hit some corners? Let's go sport mode. There's a school bus stop in 400 feet. We're slowing it down. Okay, well, we got about 20 seconds of spirited driving in there. How about that? But we'll respect this neighborhood. Blind driveway, all the stuff. Signs are very good. Signs are useful. If I see something that says there's a school or a blind driveway, we'll respect it. Even though today I went from Michigan to California on an airplane. I think I could have done it in this Integra, driven it the however many thousand miles it is cross country, and I would have been fine. I would have been comfortable. This car genuinely feels like I could sit in it all day and I would be fine. And not only is it comfortable, it's efficient, it's fun to drive, it's got a good sound system. The materials in here seem to be pretty good. Things pulled from the lower trim Honda, those are still nice. The climate panel, the steering wheel, the gauge cluster, all of it just works well. So, no real notes on this car. I mean, we talked earlier about how taking off in it with the light clutch, it's a little bit of a learning curve. And what else did I say? I mean, it's a little bit expensive. It's $40,000, but you don't have to get the A-Spec with tech. You can be a little bit under 40. You can be like 38 grand or something like that and be just fine. But I think for what it is, this car accomplishes its mission very well. And I remember all of the negative press this car got when it came out because everyone was expecting Honda to bring the RSX back. But how can you complain about this? 200 horsepower, manual transmission, limited slip, and it's cozy. So there you go. The Integra is a TopherDrives certified road trip car, even though I cheated a bit and used an airplane for most of the journey. But hey, I've still been sitting in this car for like 3 hours today, so I feel like I can give it a proper road trip evaluation. And it's a good one. It really is. If you've made it to the end of the video, I suppose I can tell you what I'm actually doing out here in California. You guys know we come out here usually once a year. Last year we skipped it because everything was on fire. But this year we've got a couple of things planned. I'm actually headed to a Toyota event right now, which I'm just now realizing I'm pulling up in a vehicle made by their direct and closest competitor. But we'll gloss over that. I'm going to drive the new CHR, which is being brought back as an EV. So something to look forward to. It's the CHR and the BZ Woodland, and then they're revealing a mystery vehicle. They haven't told us what that is yet. So it'll be content on 3 cars, and then also while I'm here, we're going to drive some other stuff that you'll see. It'll be posted later on the channel. I don't think it'll have been posted before this, so you'll be able to look out for that. But mainly here for a Toyota event, and then at the tail end of the trip, I'm driving a couple of Jeeps, the new Jeep Cherokee and Grand Cherokee with the Hurricane turbocharged 4-cylinder. So number of things, and then, you know, a couple of days in between just to kind of hang out and enjoy not being in Michigan in February. What I love about a car like this too is you can just drive it at like 35 miles an hour, go through a couple gears and still have some fun, you know? There's mailboxes, we can still be respectful and do 35. But if I was in like a Lamborghini or something right now, I wouldn't even be able to rev it from like 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. This car, it's just slow enough to be able to do slow car fast stuff. So, moral of the story is the Integra A-Spec can do just about everything. It can get you somewhere in comfort, it can get you somewhere efficiently, and it can get you somewhere excitedly. Is that a word? Excitedly? I don't know. I'm waiting to see a resort. I guess that's where this Lexus is coming out from. Test out the turning circle here. Oh my goodness, and we're pulling in behind a GT3 RS. Right. I feel like when I registered for this event, I signed up to do like beekeeping or something. Or like honey tasting? I don't know. Something with bees. Ooh, E92 and 3. Nice. This is like an entire estate. This is crazy. Wow, look at that. It's a Ram Daytona. That's the nicest one of those I've seen in years. People live here. That's somebody's house. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you all so much for watching. We're going to give this Integra away to some nice valet guys. But there will be more to come on this car, so stay tuned. But that'll be it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.